Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families and the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday. It's another day in that wonderful revolution, and every week is a new, fun experience in containing rage and figuring out how to channel it into something else, and watching our government do horrendous things, and watching our representatives fail us left and right. Do our best to try to keep some levity in it, although really there's nothing funny about anything that's going on. But we got to kind of keep our sanity. And good morning. Good morning, Jeff and Jilly and Brian and Deniz, Barbara. Before I forget, I'm going to forget. And we do have we have a double German show today. We'll talk about that. But there's apparently a lot of people got hacked on Facebook. I'm apparently one of them, and now there's a duplicate me asking people to be friends. Barbara Bartleson, same with you, and apparently a bunch of other people. So if you're already a friend with me on Facebook, we're all in the same bubble. And somebody else calling themselves me says they want to be your friend. It's not me, and I think I've already friended many of your doppelgangers, and we'll just see what that ad does. So just know that that's happening. There's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, it's a great card. You like that? Here, we got to show this. I thought this was a masterpiece. I don't know who made this. All right, I don't know. I don't have the link, and no, I didn't bother to do a lot of research to find out. But I thought that was a very accurate view. Here, I have the full image is actually here. That is the full piece of art, and there is a name at the very bottom, very small, but I can't read it. And there's a lot of people, if you could identify them all in here. We've got Mr. Smithers and the Monopoly Man. Some of them we couldn't figure out, right, Deniz, Markus?
Yeah, problems. And good morning.
Good morning. Good morning,
Morning, guys.
Thank you for being here. Yes, Facebook is a crazy mess. Oh, it started again. There it is. FDR, always on a Saturday, won't shut up.
It's the intro for Saturday.
It is. I know. Anyway, so thank you for joining us. Thank you for having us. Yeah. Laura Livengood is at a stockyard auction today. Is that what you said, Markus?
Livestock auction, yes. And she's already posting suggestion of what kind of animals we should buy, and yeah, we will see what she's coming with. You know, we had a calf so far, and yeah, we'll see what's coming.
I'm not really sure why. I'm one of the millions of Americans who lives with that hypocrisy of eating meat and not really thinking about where it comes from, and I'm really torn by that. And I have opportunity to get regular meat, like meat that hasn't been treated poorly, cow, whatever. But more and more, I'm looking at science-designed meat, like the Beyond Burger, right? I'm waiting for their sausage to come out, because then there's no guilt, right? Help take out that industry. So, but I don't know why Laura's there. Actually, I do know why Laura's there. And Laura Livengood, if you do watch the show later, I hope you're having a great time, and you deserve to be having some fun and a good time for all the hard work you've done and everything that you've sacrificed. So, but I don't know. I still don't understand why you're there looking at cows. But whatever. Hey, enjoy your time with your.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit strange, but guys, other guys are on Tinder, and it doesn't care. So, it's not a matter of importance, and everything is cool.
You weren't gonna let. Okay, you just had to go there right away. Jeffrey, $250 for a turkey. What are you guys talking about? Oh, you're at a turkey auction. Okay, $250 for a turkey? That's insane. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Markus brought up a different kind of meat, and that's the meat market on Tinder.
I don't know why I mentioned it. It just came into my mind, and but anyway,
and that's
not important.
Look, Laura Livengood has got a life, and now Deniz is working on his. Deniz let us know this morning. We're just going to embarrass the hell out of him that he's got a Tinder account. So
no, you said it. I did not say it, John.
I did. It's all right. You know what? I think that's bold and good for him. So those of you,
it's okay.
I need a little shaking.
Yeah, it's okay.
At least he's being honest with it, and that's what that site's for, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, Schultze. What you got to say? Hey. Good to see you. Hey, Environmental Coffee House. Yeah, I know. We started off talking about the seriousness of things and moved to Tinder. We're done with that. We just wanted to have a little fun with Deniz because he's a good guy.
So. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Hey, Deniz.
Now back to the horror that is our government. This picture, right? That's what's going on right now. There is no other way to describe that. We got some full-on Nazi stuff. Now, on to more serious things. Behave, Deniz, says Jeffrey. Yeah, all right. Deniz is young, Jeff. Remember being young? I do, sort of. Again? Seriously, I can't stop FDR. I don't know what his deal is. I'm just going to have to do that. Put it on that one. There's no words on that one. All right. Here. I have some good news. This is one of my proudest moments in social. Those of you who know the Bernie 2016 TV Twitter account know that I generally I'm the guy mouthing off there and ranting, sometimes we have another person who's Randy Roberts who helps. Although I haven't seen Randy around in a while. But this, if you can't read it because it's really small, is actually a message from Twitter. My account was locked briefly. Nobody noticed, but it's locked briefly. Here's what it says. It says, your account has been locked. What happened? We have determined that the account violated the terms of rules. What did I do? I encouraged suicide or self-harm. I did. Now, the thing is, I did this a year ago. So if their goal was suicide prevention, big fail. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I invited real Donald Trump to off himself. Said, please off yourself. The world will rejoice when you are gone from it. He did not take my advice. However, as a patriot and an American citizen, I felt like it was my duty to send that message to him and let him know that he would be doing us a service by getting rid of himself. So, thoughts? Is that nonviolent enough to
We laughed about this yesterday already.
I know.
One year later, it's pretty ridiculous. And they're really referring that you suggest to off himself. That he should off himself, and it is completely okay for them that you call him a POS. And it's ridiculous. And yeah.
It is.
Is it still locked or?
No. The funny thing was at the bottom. It said, "How do I fix this? Delete the tweet." So
did you delete it?
Three clicks. 3 clicks and it was like, "Oh, you bad boy." It's like, okay, all right. If that's the worst I get, then I'll encourage his suicide all the time.
Yeah.
Seriously. Free speech is dead. You weren't threatening. No, I was encouraging.
Yeah, you were suggesting,
which is a violation of their terms of service. But so is a lot of stuff. Like, we've had several channels shut down of ours because of supposed violation of free speech. So it's that's or violation of copyright laws, one or the other. But
Yeah.
you blocked real Donald Trump on Inauguration Day? Yeah.
Good for you, Barbara.
Can't feel magnetism or pheromones on apps. That is true. That is true. Dating apps are useless. Interesting. Not if you want to connect. That's right. I mean, anyway. This is what happens when you don't vote. Here, I suppose I should make this big again. This is where we're going here. This is what happens when you don't vote. I thought this was hilarious. Somewhere they voted Taco Bell best Mexican restaurant. It's just not okay. You know what else happens when you don't vote? You get these guys. This was going to be the cover, and then I saw the other one, but I thought this was also an accurate description of what's going on right now. We've got the president fucking the country and Kavanaugh fucking the justice system. And yeah. This is also what happens when you don't vote or when you don't pay attention to who you vote for. And this story is interesting. You got to go farther. So this is Rokana posting about this is a guy. 17 years ago, Wesley Ryan sold his Ford Mustang to pay for his wife's cancer treatment. A few days ago, his kids found on Craigslist and bought it. But you got to go a little farther because guess what else? The seller of the car used the money to pay for her own mother's cancer treatment.
Yeah.
Go USA. And recently, the winner of a Nobel Prize in Physics hawked it for $750,000 to cover his medical expenses before he died. Go USA! What's that Nobel Prize for? Your medical expenses, because we don't give a fuck about you. That's what it is.
The other thing it could be, it's a car like Christine, you know, Stephen King's Christine, that I don't know, that it has a bad I don't know.
No, that's
the complete story is hilarious.
I don't know. Hi Janet, how are you doing? Good to have you. Human, nice to see you. Chemo. Yeah. Wow, I got some good people who haven't been here in a while. Hey Al. Wow. Did you know I can show your comments on screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, now it's not gonna. It has to reload them. There we go. Here we go. This will be fun. Although I don't even notice you guys. There. See? Now I can show everybody Jilly Stairs. Human. Right. How many of you think that it's going to be... I mean, look, Kavanaugh's going to get confirmed. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that doesn't mean stop protesting, continue protesting, but he's going to get confirmed, and then we need to take that rage and move it forward into November, right?
I think the rage is coming, you know, and it's a difficult situation. If Kavanaugh would not be confirmed, you know, it would maybe infuriate the Republicans or the hardcore Trump voters or those who are hesitating to vote for him again. On the other hand, now he's going to be confirmed. America will definitely see the anger of women, as I said last week, and I hope for a female tsunami, if you want so, in November.
Yeah, agreed. I think, as we were talking earlier, I think it's going to be the youth and women that just kick greedy old white man's ass, and I'm looking forward to that. Please, young people and women, I want to see you in power. I want to see you taking control. The dirty old white man been in control for hundreds of years, since beginning, really, since day one.
Yeah.
We need to get rid of the dirty old white men. What are you guys talking about? Hey, Brom, how you doing? Why would you align with Nazi globalist Soros, who wants a one world government with one currency that would control and no America? Well, that's an interesting statement, Janet. There's a lot in there. I'm all for a one world government because I don't believe in nationalism. I think it's a pile of shit. And I think in the 21st century we should move beyond that. As far as George Soros, he's one dirty old white man. What the fuck about George? All right? I mean, work locally. Focus on that. Don't worry about what he does. This. Okay. This is the most encouraging thing I have seen in weeks. After watching Andrew Gilliam backtrack on statements and say he's going to campaign with Hillary and some other, douche people we don't want to see around, and there's been some concerns about other progressives that are changing their statements, and we've seen a lot of, this is what Bernie was trying to tell us to do. Raise a shit ton of money and organize, find a person to run against these pieces of shit. All right. So this is just one of the crowdfundings to raise money against Susan Collins. All right.
Nice idea.
There's more than $4 million at this point, with more than 102,000 people pledging on this alone, with an average pledge of $20. That is exactly the Bernie Sanders model. Now we just need a politician to take that money who is not a piece of shit. So that means we all have to vet, right? And as I was discussing with a Green Party person on Twitter earlier, no, it doesn't mean I'm going to vote for the Green Party candidate because all Dems are corrupt. That's not true, and that's not what it means, right? It does mean we all need to work together to pick one candidate. And if the Green Party candidate looks great, we'll all get behind them. That's what it needs to be. Okay? But quite frankly, and I'm just going to make this statement to the Green Party, and I've said something like this before. I've interviewed a number of your candidates. I like them all. I really do. Many of them lack the presence, the optics, the agility with words to really compete against the kind of criminals we have to take out. There needs to be some better training. There needs to be some better skill sets developed with your bench. All right? That's what I'm trying to say. It's the same thing that we're doing on the progressive side. We have to build a bench of decent candidates. I'm sorry, Green Party, you've put up very few. They're good people, but they are not good candidates. Okay? And there is a big difference there. So a Green Party, take a hard look at yourselves. Look at who you're running. There are very few of them that are actually good enough to run against the people you're running against. I would take Green Party and I would run local. I would run low-level races, get these people some experience, and then build them up. But a lot of the people that I interviewed had almost zero experience in actual government, but shitloads of experience protesting government. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my point about the Green Party. We're doing the same thing with the Democratic Party and progressives. We have to build a bench, we have to bring in new people, and we have to kick out all the old people that suck.
But we also heard a lot of times candidates talking about no support coming from the Democratic Party for them either.
Of course, of course.
They all are working more or less on their own.
Yeah, and Julie Love, I like your statement. Policy over here. Wait a minute. I can show this on screen if it's there. Of course I can. The one thing they don't do with this is make it easy to find your statement. But Julie Love says policy over personality. I'm green, but they can't even get a YouTube channel together. I agree, John. See? Like, I like Jill Stein, but I also think she could work on a bit of fluency in her speech. It's just a question of we're competing against professional liars and salespeople. That's tough. Yeah. It's nothing against the people. It's just who we got to train. And it's, who was it I saw posted? Ben Dixon. I thought it was interesting. Ben Dixon was like, I used to really say, I can't run. I've got a past. I've got, some things, and I've got some things in my past, and now I don't think that really matters as much. People aren't looking at those things, If you can be a pedophile and a rapist and get elected to high office, you should certainly be able to, get away with a few misdemeanors as a kid or whatever. Right? So, just saying. Seems like the doors are wider open for everybody because we're all human beings, right? Janet says, why don't Democrats say that they want an OWG and no borders? They claim to want help Americans that really want female general. What? I have no idea where you're going, Janet. I have no idea what you're talking about there.
What is OWG?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. It's an interesting statement. Jill Stein does the fireside chats. I just want to help whoever does the broadcasting for them. I just want to help them with their color palette. That's all. I have no problem with their broadcast. I just need help with the color palette. It's horrendous. And that's just me being picky. Anyway, the point, folks. So what do we got? $4 million raised for Collins. Where did you guys put the slides on how much money it's actually going to take to defeat Collins?
Collins is on 20, slide 20.
Slide 20. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, this isn't bad so far, but we're far and away. All right. So this is her top contributors because she's not running for re-election in 2018 right now, right? So there's nothing going on. But I've got to see some other information. It's 1 million. This doesn't give me a massive total, but you see the kind of people that give her money. General Dynamics, MBNA Corp, Elliott Management, Blue Cross Blue Shield, just huge chunks of big change, right? General Dynamics is just a big old, they make war stuff. All right. My guess is that it's going to take $6 to $8 million to get rid of Susan Collins in 2020. So we're about halfway there. But when it all comes down to it, $6 to $8 million because she's a high price individual, right? We're going to need to raise at least $4 million to get rid of Kurt Schrader, who's the Oregon version of Joe Manchin Democrat, right? Kurt Schrader votes like Joe Manchin. Kurt Schrader protects corporate interests above anything else, really. And it's going to cost like $4 million to get rid of Kurt in Oregon. It's going to cost us probably, I don't know, the same to get rid of Peter Courtney and to get rid of Ginny Burdick, both of whom are basically corporate sellout senators in the Oregon Senate and need to be tossed. Think of how many millions of dollars alone we're going to need just to get rid of these top individuals. That's where we're at. You know, the positive thing is it's $20 a pop. If 102,000 people, and that's could be just all the people in Alaska or wherever the fuck Susan Maine or Susan Collins is, right? That's not a lot of people. 102,000 people raising $4 million is phenomenal. And we need to do it again and again and again. We got a lot of people to get rid of. You know, who else was on the list? You got Joe. Here's Joe. I guarantee you Joe Manchin is going to cost, he's got pharmaceutical, Mylan, First Energy, Capital Group, Wexford, just money, 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 money. Right?
Yeah. It's flowing in.
But we figured it out. We're literally, this is so beautiful. I remember talking about this at the very beginning. We need to use the internet to do this and crowdfund and all that stuff. We are. Somebody created a site, 2 sites. They've got one on CrowdPack, one on ActBlue, raising a fuck ton of money. Now we have to remember that we have to stick together and choose a champion that doesn't suck. All right. And I'm going to reference Doug Jones. Remember how excited we were that Democrat Doug Jones was getting picked? Doug Jones, about a little better than Joe Manchin, really, when you look at his votes and his policy. Okay, he's not a pedophile piece of shit, but he still votes for Trump money. He still votes for the same bullshit. He's not exactly a good Democrat, you know?
No.
So we it's like we traded in the gas guzzler, we got a used car, but we really need to save up for a new model. Okay, that's the whole Doug Jones things. Now we're saving up to replace Doug next time around, right?
Oh, yes.
His name sounds like money, Manchin. Yeah, Joe Manchin. Good point. Yeah, he is not a Dem. He is so not a Dem.
No.
Good. I'm going to read the comments here. What's going on in the comments, you guys? What's good work?
Deniz had to time out, unfortunately, a viewer because of bullshit.
Oh, is that Janet?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye, Janet. Damn it, Janet.
Yeah.
What movie?
I know. Deniz, it's your turn. Damn it, Janet. Susan Sarandon. I don't know the guy's name.
Oh, come on. Is it Tim Curry?
Tim Curry,
Yeah.
Richard O'Brien wrote the song.
Oh, you know the guy who wrote the song. How many out there? Damn it, Janet. How many know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Come on.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Absolutely. Environmental Coffee House. Paula Swearingen really cried about her. Yeah, I'm trying to read what you were saying there. Exactly. We interviewed Paula Swearingen.
Yeah.
Right? Mainstream media ignored Paula Jean Swearingen. Right? They made sure to black her out. The money that was raised for Paula was not nearly enough. And I think that's the lesson. That's the lesson we're learning really quick is if you're going to raise funds for a candidate, you need to raise funds. You need to match. And I'm just going to say this right now. Go to opensecrets.org or go to votesmart.org and look up your reps and see who gives them money. Look at their vote record and look at where they've voted, who they voted for. You just look at it. You can see. Oh, look at that. Greg Walden continues to vote for the Trump agenda, continues to vote against the people. You know? And the big thing you can see is how much money they've got coming in for their next election. Right? Take a snapshot. That's all I did. I took a snapshot of Kurt Schrader's money, and I sent it out because it's that. I got to find it here. But, you know, here. We're building Map the Money to help you guys with this, but you could just go to, you know, do a snapshot of one of your reps. It's just a money-grubbing, corporate whore, and blast it out. Hey, everybody, look at how much money this rep takes. Excuse me. That's just one way we can help, right?
Yeah.
One way. Tom Reid is a Trump ass licker, and he needs to go. All right. Let's get rid of Tom Reid, everybody. Start a crowd pack candidate to get rid of Tom Reid, right? Just make it a generic crowd pack. It just seems to work really well. She will win next time, Julie Love. And that's the other thing. I got to say that for the Green Party candidates that were running good races that did well, Constant Goodell Newton is one that I think of. She will run for another office, and I think Constant needs to run for a lesser office because she can win. She's got the name recognition. She was good on camera. She's good on debate. She's good on the issues. She's got optics. She just needs to pick something smaller than governor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. But it's okay I think it's okay for your first shot to run for that big old thing. Run for it. Yeah, that's the girl who ran for governor, but now she's running for U.S. State rep, and good on her, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
It is good for experience and name recognition for another office later. I think it's a good plan.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, Louise, how you doing? Hey, Maddie. I still didn't make sure that we can get this title card. It is excellent. Oh, you want the title card, Chemo? No problem. You are raising money to get out Tom Reid? Great. Do you have a candidate against yet? Let me know. Oh, Tracy Mitrano. Cool.
Mitrano.
Drop a link in the chat. Yeah, I've got a lot of good memes that we're going to go over for the. I should make a whole music and meme montage for the holidays or something, because there's so much good memes out there against. Here's one. So I did load up a bunch of these. I thought this was great for all you Republicans who don't know who the fuck Willie Nelson is. I love that cartoon. I mean, Farm Aid, for fuck's sake, was going on in the 80s. Willie Nelson was running that thing. Anyway.
He's fueling his tour bus with pot, so therefore, guys, where he stands.
Well, pot's okay with the GOP now because rich white people are getting investing in pot. Right?
Yeah.
It's
even those who were hardly fighting against it are very happy now.
Yes, right. Because where there's profit, there's Republicans. All right.
Yeah.
And corporate Democrats. So I noticed you guys mentioned about Jimmy Dore, David Pakman. I have no idea what's going on there. The latest I've seen is Jimmy Dore was in Italy, hanging out.
He's in Rome, chilling out, enjoying life.
I know he said something Jimmy Dore's apologized for something he said to somebody else, accusing them of being in the CIA, and
Yes, it's totally ridiculous. I followed it on Twitter, but that guy who accused Jimmy of something is really a nut job.
all right. So
Okay.
I guess our answer to that is no. I don't follow it, and
No.
and wish,
Let's move on.
wish Jimmy the best, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes, run again, exactly, Schultze. But you know, just a reminder: all the people that are going to run again are going to need another gob of money. All right, so let's make sure that we remember that they're all going to need a shit ton of money. That's it. We need to go broke to get these people in office so that we can stop having to give them money. That's the way it works. Now, on to one of my favorite dilemmas. Beto or work.
Yeah.
I like Beto, but I'm worried about Beto. But then he does things. So, actually, I got these in reverse. Here, let's start with this one. Beto or work defends Senate rival Ted Cruz after restaurant heckling incident. Now, maybe Beto's trying to look like a gentleman, or I don't know. No, Beto. This is wrong. Ted Cruz, his family, anybody associates with Ted, all of the Republican Party, and every corporate Dem deserves to be heckled, deserves to be screamed at, yelled at, everything you want that's within the law, because they have voted to kill people. They have voted to rape the planet. Ted Cruz voted to allow kids to go into cages, and Ted Cruz doesn't give a fuck about that. So when you tell me that we shouldn't be mean to Ted, fuck you. Ted deserves to be pounded into the fucking ground with every other Republican. So just being yelled at in a restaurant is our nice. That is civil. That's about as civil as it should get, right? And it's going to get worse for Ted and every other member of the fucking GOP if they keep being Nazi assholes. Anytime anybody thinks that we're being too harsh, and we're going to discuss this, we're going to have the Germans talk about Nazis and differences and stuff. But the bottom line is, no, you're not going to hug a Nazi. And I consider Ted and his voting record to be the equivalent of a fascist Nazi. Okay? So, yeah. But on the other hand, and we're not ready to talk about Nazis yet, Germans, so just hold back. Hold back.
I know.
It's the big ratings thing. Okay. So, whoops, wrong one. Then Ted does this. Then Beto does this. On a possible endorsement from Obama, I don't think we're interested. That earned some points with me. Now, granted, he basically said, O'Rourke said his campaign didn't reach out to the Obama camp for an endorsement and added that he's been down this road before when he ran what was considered his underdog 2012 campaign to defeat former U.S. Rep. Sylvester Reyes. The incumbent received nods from Obama and former President Bill Clinton, which is exactly what we see now. Obama handing out his endorsement, whether it means anything or not, to all these corporate fucking Dems. Right? And ignoring the progressives. Now, somebody told me that Obama endorsed Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Not someone, it was me.
Was it you, Markus? Okay.
Yes, I told you. Yeah.
And Mike, do you think that is helpful? Or do you think he did it meaning to do her harm? You know what? I'm going to endorse her. That's going to fuck her.
Okay.
I mean,
first of all, if once you are endorsed by someone, I think it's very difficult to tell this someone that you don't want to accept this endorsement. You know, not from a guy like Obama, who has still a good reputation, you know, in society. It would humiliate yourself and also the one who is doing the endorsement. And this is too late, you know, and we know that Alexandria won't change her policies because of that. It says, I don't know what Obama thinks and why he's endorsing her. I think it's not an important news. But I want to say something about Beto and what he says about Ted Cruz. When we are in 2020 or in 2019, when Bernie is campaigning against Donald Trump and something similar happens, you can bet your ass that Bernie will say the same thing. You have to be respectful with with the president and bullshit. This is, of course, this is important that they say it. You know, Beto is aiming with this at at the moderate Republicans who might be convinced to vote for him instead of Trump, because Trump is maybe doing it a little bit too hard for them. And,
all right, I don't disagree with you there. I think optically and strategically it's brilliant. All right, and it may irritate progressives who want to see Beto's face in the ground, but you're right. It's a good move for Beto and his campaign. His statement about it, the second part of the statement I thought was interesting, and I just want to, hey, Andrew Gilliam campaigning with Hillary, this is important, all right? Bill Clinton fills up the county coliseum, and a screaming El Paso Times front page headline said, President urges El Paso to stick with Reyes, all right? And we won. So what Beto won. So what Beto is trying to say is that what drove home for me is that someone else's popularity is not transferable to a given candidate. And this is the same message that we've seen where Bernie endorses somebody, but that person doesn't win, right? And it's going to be the same when we see Hillary go around or add endorsement or whatever. It doesn't. It's those endorsements aren't as powerful as we think. They rattle the boat here and there optically and in the press and shit, but they aren't as powerful. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. It's why Bernie said it's on us, right? Don't expect the power of Bernie to come down and bump you into your position, right? Yeah. That's not how it's going to work. So I thought it was a good lesson there, even if it does come from Beto, who I agree is like a Doug Jones. He's not the best of Dems. He's not a progressive. Yeah.
He might be better than Doug Jones.
He's better than Doug Jones. He's he's certainly for Texas standards, and he's certainly better than Cruz. But what does that mean? We don't know. We don't know until we see what kind of votes he casts.
Yeah. And thank you, Maddie, for your donation.
Thank you, Maddie. I really appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. No, Bernie is not that respectful to Trump. Well, no, he's not. But...
yeah, he would address this, I'm pretty sure. He's a decent guy. And
now Gilliam thinks he doesn't need progressives to win? Interesting.
Yeah.
If you look at his behavior and how he runs his campaign and so on.
It's so strange.
Yeah. It's the same. Oh, it's same old.
Agreed.
Get the endorsement, get the primary win, and after that, shit on them.
Yeah, but we knew this. We knew that some of them would be a disappointment, and this only says that they must be replaced then once in office, and it turns out they are not working in favor of the people. Period.
With all of them, and yes, you're absolutely right. With all of them, they can say everything they want during the campaign. It's on us after that to be on their ass. And that's why I disagree with the statement, don't yell at them in the restaurant. Right? If they're not listening to you in a town hall, if they're not listening to you as a voter, if they're not voting the way you tell your representative, your servant, they're servants. And I see so many statements that say, they're not our leaders. You're right. They're not our leaders. We are the leaders of our nation. We elect them to do what the fuck we say. And when they don't, we're left with very few options at this point. And that includes yelling at them when they're at dinner because they deserve it. And making fun of them when they're stupid. By the way, hi all 48 of you. There's 48 people watching this live right now, and that's impressive. Hi, everybody. Nice to have you here.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
So, I don't know if you guys caught this, but your president isn't liked when nobody bothers to stop this optics from happening. He walked up Air Force One. I love this headline, though. Toilet paper boards Air Force One with Trump stuck to it.
Yeah.
Did you guys all see that? That was here. Where is that?
Yeah.
I have the actual. There's the clip right there.
And what an embarrassment it is. Wow.
Thank you. America first. I got to take a big dump.
It's
the
president of America. You got to imagine this, and what a humiliation. We see it in the next slide,
Oh.
in slide 14, how bad this is, and
it affects everyone.
Yes, and look at the poor toilet paper roll, and it's desperate, and if you look there, and one's dead already hanging on the wall, and desperation, and feelings of humiliation also.
Yeah, just had to bring that up. Like I said, we have to vent our anger and rage differently.
Yeah. I
use Twitter often, as do other people. Just telling Trump to go fuck himself feels good sometimes, especially when you know that he's exactly like a high school bully. This, I thought, was another brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where this is. Whoever saw this, this is Back to the Future on the bottom there, and Biff, our president, on the top.
This is in so many ways, it is disturbingly precise, Back to the Future, it starts with the title, it refers to Back to the Future, and if you look at the people in the back, the three guys, it could be, in the photo above, it could be the older version of them,
Yeah.
It's
ridiculous.
Very great.
Melissa H., where was his body man? Even that guy can't do his job. I don't think it's not do his job. The body man was like, I'm not touching this. I'm just going to let him walk up the stairs.
I don't want to be fired.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's probably fired now. Anyway, yeah, Biff. Trump is Biff, except I think Biff was smarter. And
Biff was smarter.
Maybe
definitely.
even classier. I'm just going to go there.
Yes, yeah, I agree, yeah.
And all right, so we're those are kind of my all right, we're going. More memes. I thought this was really appropriate. If you still feel the burn, think about it this way. An arrow may have your name on it, but a fireball is addressed to whom it may concern. And I believe that we are building one massive fireball for 2020. And it's going to be addressed to whoever doesn't give a shit about the 99%. I thought that was well said. And this is really the development of Feel the Burn. If you could sum it up right there, this is what's going to happen. We are going to burn the Democratic Party into something worthy of the people by replacing people with us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And look at the donkey, it's standing there moving less, and it's the same situation. Normally, if you're set on fire, you are jumping around, but this donkey is standing there and is thinking what's going on.
Yes, feeling a burn.
Feeling the burn.
The most horrible thing, from my perspective, is how the leadership, the DNC and so on, are reacting to all the comments their elected officials in the Senate and the House and also doing, and they're saying, it's okay, we don't care what you vote for and so on. I think all the guys who are talking about the blue wave and all the stuff will be surprised in November.
Yeah.
If they're still around, because you're getting drowned right now in the South. A lot of water.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. What were you going to say, Markus?
Yeah, but I only can agree to this. Yeah.
Cindy Matthews said yes. I say burn it down to the ground, referencing the popular drinking game, burning it down to the ground. Right, Brett Kavanaugh? That was a joke. I love that. I mean it, there's no physical space unless we actually march on D.C. and burn that to the ground. But we are definitely going to get rid of all the people and make a clean ship of it. That's what we're doing. Caption, what DNC means by showing loyalty. Nice, low-key. Hey, how you doing? Nice statements. All right, so do you guys want to talk about Germans and Nazis now before we go into climate and stuff? Because
all right. Okay.
And I'm just going to preface this by saying we obviously have a Nazi problem in America. And I often talk about, in general, you know, anybody that is voting for Republican is basically a Nazi sympathizer, and they are, and are every Republican in office right now is basically, to me, a Nazi, and ICE is a group of Nazis, and I kind of have really strong feelings about what do we do with these folks, you know, I asked a couple experts in the whole concept of Nazis to tell us how Germany handles their Nazis. So take it away, guys.
Okay, this is, of course, this is a very, very hard and difficult question to answer because it covers so many levels. The thing is, I can only go back at first in history. You know, we only can Germany arose from this nightmare which was called National Socialism after Hitler, and we have to learn democracy again. And within these lessons about democracy, there was an important part was to remember what happens and to start to do a research what really happened in Germany, what happened with the Germans, what's it all about. And this is done for decades now, since the new Germany arose, the times after the Third Reich. What we are doing today with Nazism, I think it is worse enough that this shows up in Germany because of our history. First of all, we have very, very strict laws what all this concerns, and this explains Deniz the best.
Yeah. First of all, thank you guys in America for sending us some aids into writing our constitution. And yeah, we have something that explains why we have so strict laws against Nazism, homophobia, and so on. Hold on a minute, I have to bring it on my screen. Thank you. So, first phrase, the first preamble in our Constitution, Article 1, human dignity, human rights, and legally binding force of basic rights. The first sentence is, human dignity shall be inviolable. To respect and protect it shall be the duty of all state authority and indirectly the society. So this means anything you say to lower someone or to attack someone or fighting an ideology or something that, and so on, yeah, speaks against this. So therefore, this is a result of our experience through the Nazis. My grandfather was a high commander in this city from the Nazis, and my grandma told me some stories how she grew up and so on. And these lessons during the Nuremberg trials and so on got us the lesson that we as a society want to prevent this to ever happen again. Therefore, we have strict laws. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely right. And these strict laws are the basic laws for us. Also are important if it is about the matter of hate speech or ideology of Nazism here in Germany. For this we have strict laws. It is in Germany. It is forbidden to sell or to produce any stuff with Nazi symbolics on it, like the swastika, the SS letters, etc.
Yeah.
But how do they address that against freedom of speech? And there are people that are like, well, we should be free to use whatever symbol we want. Fuck you.
No, the thing is, these signs, they symbolize, they stand for something. Hatred against people of color, and so on. Therefore, if you wear this sign, it doesn't matter freedom of speech and so on, but you're for it, you support it. And we as a society decided we will not accept this anymore because of our past.
all you can we can say it like this: all the ideas which makes National Socialism are not covered anymore by our basic laws, by our Grundgesetz, and they are opposing our Grundgesetz. So in this case, it is automatically not allowed to use all this for purposes, you know. This is forbidden here, you know. It is forbidden to degrade people because of their race, which is also an important aspect of National Socialism. What happened to the Jews here in Germany? All this is forbidden, you know. And if you heard this, you have to fear sanctions, which can be up to 5 or 7 years in prison, you know, in the worst cases.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of questions. Why don't we do this here? Because we don't have people in office that want to do that. And the other thing is the time it was a different time. I mean, you know, you got here. Let me give you one preface on this before they continue. Germany understood at the time that it had done something horrific. The nation was ashamed, and the nation understood it needed to change. America is not there. America has not accepted as a nation that we have done horrific things and that we need to atone for those horrific things and that we need to change our government structure so that we never do these horrific things again. We're not there. We're not united. We haven't been annihilated. Right? That's the big difference. We are being annihilated slowly by climate change right now and by economic depression and by all the same things that happened to the Weimar Republic, okay, that led to the Nazi, which is why we're where we're at, okay? But the Germans at this point had been defeated, and they understood that they needed to reconcile, and we're not there. It's a very difference. Do you agree with that, Markus and Deniz?
Yes, absolutely. I want to add another important thing. It is not only about the symbolics of National Socialism. It is also that if you are denier of what happened in Germany regarding the Holocaust, if you deny this is also punished by law. Because this is a proven fact, you know, and there is no discussion about this. And I think it's absolutely correct that it is like it is.
Right.
But we also have to face it, how people grow up, what kind of society they grow up. In America, especially, you are exceptional. We are America. We are the best. Fuck the rest of the world. Take me, for example. I'm 29. When I grew up in the 4th grade, 5th grade, I learned about the Holocaust. Our biggest mistakes, what we did in history. Also the colonization of Africa and West Africa and so on. We learn about our mistakes to learn to not repeat them.
You said an interesting word there, mistakes. Were they actually taught to you as mistakes?
Yeah.
See, now, I want to ask every American citizen right now, do you remember in any of your history books ever seeing the word mistake regarding anything America has ever done fucking ever? Even with slavery, they never said big mistake. They said there was a period of turmoil where Americans disagreed with each other and then decided this way. We have never said, wow, we're a douchebag nation and that was wrong. Never.
No, we learned to recognize, to deal with it, to analyze it, and to own it.
Yeah, we're working on that.
If you watch to America, a typical history story, all whitewashed. We are the great. Oh, we celebrate Columbus Day. You need to name it Genocide Day.
Well, that's changing though. But to see just on that's changing. Like there are a number of cities and states now that don't recognize Columbus Day. They call it Indigenous Peoples Day, and they recognize it for what it is. All right. So that things like that. And that's what things like that are. We're starting to. We are Brett Kavanaugh. You realize that as a nation, we're that abusive boyfriend, that dry drunk, and we're just starting to come to our fucking shit. It's like, I got some hard choices to make. Do I stay a drunk or do I clean up? As a nation, it's really where we are, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
we're the Brett Kavanaugh of the fucking world, and Brett Kavanaugh ending up as a Supreme Court justice is our ultimate failure as a nation.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
It's
And
yeah.
we didn't invade and overthrow in the last couple of decades governments, other countries, and so on. This also plays in it.
Of course.
This
And-
feeling of
and-
exceptionalism, we are the best, and so on.
Of course.
Therefore, and also we could talking about Germany. We have a Nazi problem also here.
Do you now? All right, I'm going to
Can't-
limit
we
you to
can't
3
deny
minutes
that.
talking about your Nazi problem.
Yeah,
here.
we can't deny it, but we handle it differently because we confront it directly
What do you do?
and don't close our eyes around it.
So what do you do with your Nazis? You said there's a Nazi parade every year there, right?
Every 1st of March, Workers' Day. Yeah,
And what happens?
Yeah.
Is there violence? Do people break out in the streets?
there were a little violence as a former Antifa member. Yeah, they have some clashes, but not one dies. No. Yeah.
Right. You say it again, Mark. Tell him, Marcus.
What? we have no weapons in the game. You know, this makes all this a little bit different. It is also sheltered by lots of policemen, and it has to be officially announced. It has to be accepted by the local government, etc. This is a process of bureaucracy, but they are marching. You know, and we have. There were some actions against them. There were a fund. They invented a fund for each mile or each kilometer they walked. Someone was donating a certain amount of money, and it became all a big success and was later given to an anti-racist organization. And there are certain methods and possibilities. To put some stones in the Nazi system, you know, also in America, I guess.
I love that, because what you just said, and I just want to tie this all together, and then we're going to move on to climate, is that you do other things. I realize that, but the primary thing you talked about there, everybody, is economic. All right.
Yeah.
It's economic based, because we are a capitalist world, and money is power. And so if you find a way to turn whatever that is into a way to draw money, Susan Collins voting against her own goddamn gender, okay?
Yeah.
Then basically you can weaponize that cash into something that's going to work against Susan Collins or against Nazis or against that rep you want to take out. And that's really what Germans are doing. They've just been doing it a while longer, and they're down to like, look, we don't need to get violent. We just need to find a fun way to make these people feel really dumb and raise money against them. And that's what they do. That's like brilliant German stuff. Very efficient, you know.
I wish we could be more efficient regarding the AfD fuckers.
Yeah, I know you guys have a problem with them
Yeah.
coming in and doing a lot of stuff. Protests are outlawed and police are thugs. Here, that's starting to become a problem, and that's the whole, you know, I just got to say at some point, and this is where we're going with the Nazis. I'm just going to, you know, Marcus, you were saying there's a difference. There's a difference between ICE on the street as Nazis and your average Trump voter who you wouldn't consider a Nazi, right?
I think there in this case I would say there is a big similarity between both of them, because it needs to be a certain character, a certain personality to do this job. I think this is in parts comparable to what the Gestapo in Germany did.
Absolutely. So I mean, how and I'm just going to say it bluntly. How would you, if ICE were operating in Germany right now, and for some reason the German government was like, yeah, ICE is going to do that. How would you as a German people combat that?
That's a good question, and of course this is not to be answered right away, because this affords thinking. This affords a plan to counterattack this.
Right.
Of course, this is nothing you can agree to and say, okay, you will follow those rules. This would afford certain measures, in my opinion.
And granted, it would never happen there because you have laws in a democracy to really secure from that. But at some point, you know, my point is in some place, money works and voting works, but some kind of a physical stand against these Nazi assholes. You're not going to hug the ICE and get them to change their minds, are you? That's my view.
No.
I
can only talk for myself.
Dennis, please.
Yeah.
For the people I'm friends with and so on, who are still members of Antifa and so on, those guys would go crazy. And they would do some action, and maybe set an example. And I know many people, because the majority of our people here are liberal, and
So what do you mean go crazy? What would they do, Deniz? Marching in the streets? What are we talking about? You know?
marching in the streets. And if they would see an ICE agent, they will probably beat him up, so that he would get in the hospital, maybe death.
So
in the end.
we're at a point. All right.
I am talking about the Antifa German
Right.
guys.
Yeah.
The Black Bloc.
And you used to be a member of Antifa, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just telling everybody here, the mainstream media likes to present it as a horrible thing and that Antifa is horrible. But Antifa is the spearhead that first, we're going to get physical with you. Okay? They're the ones risking it. And quite frankly, I'm all for a physical confrontation with ICE. Those motherfuckers need to be taken out. And I hope we use whatever means we have to get rid of ICE. Just a statement. Anybody willing to wear that badge, willing to back that badge as a politician, you're disgusting. You're absolutely disgusting and vile, and you have no place in our society. No place whatsoever in our society. And we don't need to tolerate you, and I don't need to respect you as a public. No, you're a Nazi if you're an ICE agent. You're just a piece of shit, and I don't care what happens to you. That's my view. That's my view. Now we're going to move into climate, because we heard the Germans talk about their Nazis. The thing we have to learn as Americans is not to be so angry. It's to own it in a different way. I'm not there yet. I just can't. I'm still in the turmoil of how terrible things are. You know. You guys have this little story here on capitalism and cannabis. Do you want to run through that fast?
Yes, it is only a short message I found in The Guardian lately, and it says in how far the cannabis capitalism is striking in America. The article says there is at the moment there is nobody really making real money. There is nobody becoming a millionaire because of marijuana, because there are some obstacles the small growers have to fight with, and we have it here in the article. It says the difficulties small farmers face were anticipated in the lead up to the legalization. California's small growers had expected a provision which would prohibit farms larger than about an acre until 2023. Giving small growers time to adapt. All this did not happen, because of course the big markets, the big companies are getting into the market and they want to take over, and
right.
At the end it says, but when the rules came out last November, a new loophole allowed mega farms immediately, and of course this dangers all the little growers. And the alternative, which was also suggested, is to produce some kind of craft cannabis, but it turns out that this would be too cost intensive to be practiced. So in the end, we would in America have a big market shared by only the big companies and maybe a handful of local dealers, maybe, and that's it.
This is how it always goes down, it seems.
Yeah.
It's just really annoying that it always seems to be this. The big companies come in and they take what they want and they make it work in their favor, and it's happening with cannabis. When it's gone the route of corporate when Mitt Romney invests. Right? It's just unfortunate. So it's another industry, and this can be changed. There's the main narrative that needs to be changed in America is that corporations are great, okay, and that corporations matter, and that corporations are important, because they're none of those things, okay? Corporations are just fucking corporations. People are great. People matter. People are important. Corporations can die. Corporations should die. And we can change our laws to prevent corporations from ever getting big. And we can change the narrative with our children and raise them to understand that corporate money and being successful in corporation and having money does not make you a successful human being and doesn't make you a good human being. And that's not what makes America great. No. But that's basically been the narrative since the industrial age. If you work, and you make it rich, and you have a big fucking corporation, that's America. Bank of America, the men who made America. That's all that show is about. Look at the greedy white men who fucked the environment so they could be all rich. And now we're going to rewrite history to remember them as great dudes. You know, we need to change that. We need to change that. Say America is good and had nothing to do with money. Should have nothing to do with your success in your career. And corporations should be put down at the bottom of the list of things we give a fuck about. At the very, very, very bottom. That's what I want to see. I want to see corporations come last. Last. It's just, we got to make that happen.
Agreed.
Here's snapshots from Weather Channel. I love the Weather Channel. They help me so much with you know, just showing you guys what's going on. Eastern Pacific hurricane season, and this has actually gone up now. We've got some big trouble brewing. But the NOAA average, 14 to 20, they predicted for this year. So far, we've had 18. Hurricanes, the average 7 to 12, we've had 10. And Category 3 or higher, we're at the top of that, and we're going to probably have more. The point of this is that we're not necessarily going to have way more events in climate. They're just going to be way more extreme. And I'm so sorry for everybody that's kind of in the South and in the Midwest right now. If you do believe in climate change and if you have been working towards climate change action in your states, because right now you are getting biblically flooded. The water is it's amazing. I didn't load the picture. I had a picture from the Weather Channel from before with the jet stream and how it's splitting the United States. And how all of this moisture is just coming up from the Caribbean. Huge moisture. The surface temperature of the water is 90 freaking degrees. And that moisture is being picked up way high into the air by the cold front that has dipped down from the poles because we've screwed our environment. And that gets pushed. And where those two meet is where you get all this extreme weather. And there's flooding happening all over the frickin' place, United States. And you're probably not hearing it because they're not talking about it on national news. You got to watch the Weather Channel where they cover the whole United States and they show you the global map and they show you these tropical depressions, these patterns, and all of this moisture just moving up. Bill McKibben said it, a warmer world is a wetter world. And it doesn't need to be a tidal wave. It doesn't need to be a Hollywood epic to destroy a fucking nation. And we're moving into seeing this article here is on climate. This is the global climate refugee crisis has already begun.
Yeah.
And it's happening in the United States, and it's happening sooner than I expected, and I'm excited about that. Because it means hopefully we'll be acting on climate sooner. Right? But we've got refugees. Like this, check this. After Hurricane Matthew flooded the small eastern South Carolina town of Nichols in 2016, 100 families, a third of the town's population, left, never to return. With Hurricane Florence, the town is flooded again, and residents and some businesses evacuated early. They don't even know they're going to come back to that town. All right?
Yep.
There's also people that were Hurricane Katrina, okay, that moved to Houston, refugees to Houston that were affected by Irma. Right? Yeah. I mean, eventually these people are just going to die. They're going to end up homeless and destitute in the streets because they don't, you can't just keep fleeing, you know. Suburban middle-class Americans don't know what being a refugee means. We're just starting to learn. And just to a little bit of it in kind of irony, it's the Bible Belt that's getting pounded a lot. The Bible Belt that likes to talk about how God's punishing gays or punishing this. The Bible Belt's getting a biblical flood, and it just seems kind of karmic. I don't know. What do you think?
What you said before about the jet stream, you know, which divides America, you know, and we are noticing or we are watching what's going on in Florida with the red flood, also, you know.
Oh yeah, the red tide's horrific.
The red tide is absolutely crazy, you know. And there you see there is something worryingly wrong, you know. And
it is.
Yeah,
it is, and you know, it's affecting. We know what it's affecting, everybody, right? It's just a question of dealing with it. I just thought it was kind of, you know, just
But
desserts,
just to get just a little example, I saw a German scientist said, imagine the water we have all of the world. It's like if you fill a bathtub. This is all the water we have in the world. But the water we can use, drink, and to harvest and so on, it's a little cup.
Yeah.
And we are so dumb to poison it, fracking it, and so on. So therefore, hey guys, enjoy your last couple of years. We will be extinct.
Darcy. Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. We have very little drinkable water compared to the water coming down. But, you know, more rain's fixing that, actually. Just don't know if it's reaching Germany, Dennis. I know you guys are having a hot time right now in October. 27 degrees Celsius in October over there in Germany.
Yeah, it's cooling off. It's normal now.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. We're all moving to John's house, says Chemo. Darcy says Canada will have to deal with American climate refugees. Grow that hedge. I would make it out of blackberries, you guys.
Yeah.
That's a good solid hedge. I'll keep American refugees out. Trust me. I keep seeing more and more. This is my favorite. When Bush won in 2000, I started seeing a lot of stuff going around about, and this is in 2000, so it wasn't like we had kick-ass internet. Started seeing a lot of stuff going around about moving to Canada. How do you move to Canada? What is it going to take? And at that point, it was like an 8-year waiting period, right? Unless you were sponsored and had the job and some other shit. And now I see a lot more of this. How you can all move to Canada. And it's almost like other countries are like, hey, Americans smart enough to see this message. Go ahead. Come on here. Let's leave everybody else down there. It doesn't matter, though, does it? Because we're all a big ball. You Germans want to talk about the fight for Hambach Forest before we get out of here?
Yeah, because last week I noticed that it was 2 or 3 asked for it in chat, and I think it was a good topic because yesterday we had excellent news about this forest after weeks or months of a very hard fight between the owner, the RWE, which is an energy company, a big energy company here. It is their land. We have to say it. It is their land, but they cannot do anything they want on their land. And if you look at the photo here, this is what's left of the former big forest. This is the sad rest of the Hambacher forest. In the distance, you see. You see the coal pit, you know, and this is the reason why they want to fell all the trees. They want to get the coal underneath the roots of the trees. And if you go one slide further, you see how the environment looks after the trees have gone. It looks like living on Mars. It's absolutely terrible. And RWE said they wanted to do this. They said, okay, this is our land. We want to get the coal. They got a friendly assistance by our government here in our state. And they could not wait to get the first trees down. Unfortunately, there was a senior administrative court who decided yesterday that the forest stays untouched for a minimum 1 year. They want to clear what's going on because, and this is very, very interesting, if we go to the next slide, RWE, the owner, said they would need the forest, they would need to fell it right now because otherwise, they said, it would be essential for the maintaining of our energy supply here in Germany. And the judges could not follow this and said, no, this is not convincing what you say, and keep your axes out of the trees, and it's a done deal. And of course, there are big celebrations about this. Today, there were about 50,000 people there celebrating this and protesting against coal in general. And I think this is a good thingy we have to report finally.
Agreed. I don't want to run the 8-minute video.
By the way, I have a video here. It's 8 minutes long. We won't show this today, but it's underneath the video, below the video, yes. And you can watch it. It's in English, and it's very interesting to see the activists there and what they were saying.
I think it's important too, because I think there's a lot of activism going on in Europe that's more practiced and maybe more strategic and has their shit together than what we do here. and we could learn some stuff from you guys.
I don't think so, because their experience, of course, it's an international movement, and it is comparable to what we saw in at Standing Rock. You know, those people, they risk their lives. One journalist died 2 weeks ago, unfortunately, and yeah, they're doing the right thing. And hats off to the activists.
Yeah, no, we've got the same thing happening here. A lot of protests at the Capitol. A lot of people getting arrested, and that's just economic. Because over here it costs money, right? So you know, and that's a little difference too. In Europe, if you're arrested, it probably doesn't cost you hundreds of dollars to deal with, and if you get injured, it probably doesn't cost you hundreds of dollars to deal with either. Where over here, anytime anybody goes to protest, unless they're well off and covered, it's an economic attack, right? Basically, if I were to go do it, I couldn't afford to go to jail. I don't know how I would afford bail, right? And then if I were injured, I don't have health insurance. So I run the risk of being severely injured and having to start a GoFundMe. That's when you think about that, Americans, that is a crippling of our freedoms right there. That is not life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness at all, right? That's my God. If I want to protest my shitty government, I have to risk my death. I have to risk going into debt. I have to risk going into jail and then going into debt. And if I can't pay that debt, then I stay longer in jail. I mean, that's the prison. It's basically the birth to prison pipeline. It's what we have in this country. We got to fix that shit. Gotta fix that shit. I wouldn't be able to do that too, says Brian. Yeah, I don't, you know. It's frightening. And so kudos to for all the people that are doing that, for all the people that can go out there, right? Thank you. People like Amy Schumer, who has the money to get arrested, right? At least a few times. Anyway.
Anyway, important is that she's there.
Yeah,
you know?
that she's there. That they're all there.
Taking the risk. Yeah.
And what it's showing us is that the politicians don't care. And so we really need to get rid of those people, you know. That's important. It's cool to see that you guys are, you know, that you won that battle against that force. That just shows a judge. There it is again, the justice system in Germany. What is it with the judges?
The battle is not won yet. It is only delayed, but already the reputation of RWE is already so below anything. You know, there are protests coming to them, and I think they will cave in the end.
I agree. Darcy, if an American has a pleasant conversation at the Great Canadian Hedge, we will let them in. So I see this building up as more American refugees happen, right? Canada funds giant blackberry hedge, right? And then a group of Soros-funded progressives trying to escape Nazis are going to fund a goat army to come eat your hedge. And the Canadians will say, we're only going to let you in if you can have a pleasant conversation with us. And there's going to be a long line of people waiting to have a pleasant conversation with a Canadian. That's going to be the refugee crisis of 2020. There you go. That's it. Protect yourself. Get a goat, everybody. That's the bottom line there. Next week, or whenever, tomorrow, maybe.
Tomorrow.
Not next week. Robert's Rules of Order. Bylaws. Come by. It's gripping. You guys have enjoyed all the Robert's Rules. They've been, you know, it's more exciting than some golf. I'll give it that. And it's actually learning the rules that you can use in your own meetings and groups and stuff, right? Every democratic organization or organization that claims to be is a ship for the taking with resources, right? Whether it's your Lynn County Democrats, or the state party level, right? Bylaws are important. Watch this stuff. Larry's back from France. Find out if he's all become socialist now. He was a socialist before. Find out from Larry what France was like. And goats for all. There you go. I love it, Jeffrey. Goats for all. Americans are going to have a goat in their pocket. Every American with a goat in their pocket. That'll be the new deal. New goat
I'm
deal.
Pretty sure that Larry has now a French accent somehow.
Oh, I'm sure. Larry, let's come back with that. So join us for Robert's Rules. What, Dennis?
and gained some weight. The French cuisine is great.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna guess. Larry didn't join us in the chat this morning. So
Maybe jet lag. He's still sleeping or something
maybe,
like this.
maybe. I'm gonna escape to Germany. Y'all know that. I'm going to Germany because Amsterdam. That's why.
No, Düsseldorf.
Okay, either well, right, but you know me.
I know what you mean.
It's only a 2.5 drive.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's just a quick, awesome ride on a Euro train that we don't have here. There's so many. It's really like Europe. I've said this before. I grew up with America being yay, and we're all looking like at Europe going, pff, and now I look at Europe and I'm like, I want that. Look at what they. They have super trains. It's really
is great.
Anyway, and the only way to change that, I can't ask mommy to get me a super train. I have to be involved in my democracy and get rid of a bunch of dirty old fuckers, and then we can build super trains that are better than the German ones. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Good to see you, Real Jingy, Cindy Matthews, Jeffrey, everybody. Yeah, it's good to see you here. I needed this. All right, Marcus, you picked the music story time.
Yeah, it's not a big story because it's it's minimalistic if you want so, you know. I'm talking of course about the Sleaford Mods, which became one of my favorite bands, you know, some of my favorite punk bands. Though they are not really the punk band as you know them from the past. They are into electro-punk and well, they're from UK, United Kingdom, and they are big criticizers of the society, of the politics there. To say it short, they are pretty pissed off about what's going on there, starting with Brexit and all this crap with capitalism there. And they're very creative in what they are doing on the behalf of the singer. He is Jason. He's absolutely great with words, in my opinion. And Andrew, who does the complete music part before, you know, because if he's on stage, he does not much anymore. Apart from
does he drink a beer? Just
no. He's only pressing a button when the song is over, and for the next song he presses the next button, and the rest of the time he's spending beer and nodding to his songs with his head. And he's enjoying this also, and I'm enjoying this band. I took the song is No One's Bothered, which describes what they're thinking about what's going on in society, etc.
I love the cover. Is this the cover of the album, or is it?
No. It's I found it in the internet. I think it was fitting because this is exactly their attitude to what's going on about about the whole situation they're in, you know. And
I think I thought that was well done.
They're fantastic in my opinion. And I took a live sequence. I hope we don't get busted. It worked in the past that we could use it from Jules in the Netherlands, and it has subtitles. And I hope you guys enjoy this.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcus, for setting that up. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. You know what we got to do. Thank you, Deniz, for being here. Put Deniz back on screen. Go out with the Sleaford Mods.
Yeah, Deniz.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great weekend.
I will Tinder a little bit later.
You're absolutely a great sport, Deniz. You know
yes,
that?
You are. Yes, you are.
You are fucking cool, man.
There you go. You can put up with that. That's awesome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You make what we do worth doing by showing up. And remember, this is user-supported, so your donations are welcome. And your volunteer work is welcome. We're doing a lot of work on mapthemoney.org. We're ready to show some of that demo work, hopefully in the next couple weeks. So if you want to help with research on other candidates, this is opposition research to help take out greedy reps. And there's a lot of information we can find on them. And, just info@uphillmedia.org if you want to get involved. Appreciate you all being here. It means a lot to me, especially as we move forward. And you give me purpose. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Remember, Skeletor says, everyone have a wonderful weekend. Except you, Susan Collins. You and the entire GOP can fuck off and take that prick Joe Manchin with you.
range of view. We do, dead will fall, no one's bothered. You're trapped, me too, alienation and no one's bothered. No one's bothered. Big carriage on the run out, everybody shake. I got a bloody strap on, I'll tell you mate, I might get undone at. Everything I've seen, the grass in the dugout always bleeds, mate, history for no one. Ace as much as bleeds, the dark through the go on. Get up from the knees and hip shake, shake it. I've been around the grass in the dugout. Range of view, we do, dead will fall, no one's bothered. You're trapped, me too, alienation and no one's bothered. No one's bothered. It's tiny on the fauna to make it all it thinks. An old sauce maker, spicy screams, a lower grass skirt. 5-0 was Steve McGarrett. He blew all of the dough. We range of view, we do, dead will fall, no one's bothered. You're trapped, me too, alienation and no one's bothered. No one's bothered. No one's bothered. Raise your view. We do. Dead will fall. No one's bothered. You're trapped. Me too. Alienation and no one's bothered. No one's bothered. No one. Oh no, we're charming. Oh no, self-harming. Oh no, we're charming. Oh no, self-harming. Well, I'll take it back. I'll take it down. I'll take it back. I'll take it down. I'll take it down. I'll take it down. I'll take it down. I'll take it down.